Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Tudor Black Bay 58 925. This watch is available from Chronex.com for €5,380. You can purchase the watch from Chronex.com online or alternatively in person at their boutiques. All their watches are Chronex certified original by their in-house watchmakers, and all their watches are covered by the Chronex 24-month warranty. So firstly, let's look at the box that the watch comes in, and then I'll talk you through the other items one gets with the piece. So the Tudor Black Bay 58 925 comes in this black cardboard outer box. One removes the lid, pulls down the flap, and the watch box is protected by a foam panel. So I'll show you the watch box itself. Very aesthetically pleasing with a glossy black Tudor shield on the top of the hinged lid, finished to perfection as one would expect. The interior is finished to a high standard with a velour fabric which is black. Very nice presentation from Tudor. So with regards to the other items, this is the owner's instruction manual. This is the guarantee booklet. This is the plastic warranty card. Now for security I've blacked out the serial number, but you can see the reference number of the piece is 79010SG, which denotes that this is the Black Bay 58 925 version. This is a brand new unworn 2021 piece, and you can see the date of purchase was the 2nd of August 2021. And lastly, one also gets the original Tudor price tag, so this is a full set. So with regards to the specifications of the piece, this is the Tudor Black Bay 58 925. We have a 39mm case diameter, a lug-to-lug measurement of 47.6mm, a thickness of 12.6mm, and a lug width of 20mm. The grained leather strap tapers from 20mm at the lugs down to the buckle and tang, which is signed to a high standard with Tudor engraved. The buckle and tang are made from solid 925 silver, which is hallmarked. Flawless stitching through the grain strap as one would expect. Nice grain textured finish to it. Now it is a thick strap, so it is going to take some breaking in from daily wear to make it supple and soft, but I think it's going to be very comfortable when it's worn daily. One sliding keeper, and it really is a very aesthetically pleasing grained leather strap, and I think they've made the correct choice by putting it on the grain strap rather than a bracelet. So with regards to the rest of the specification, double dome sapphire crystal with clear AR coating, and the clear AR coating does an excellent job of reducing the glare and the highly reflective nature of the silver applied indices and the silver snowflake hands. The Torp dial complements the Torp aluminium bezel insert. They've got the colour match of the Torp correct. It's got a lovely metallic anthracite grey colour tone to it, and it gives the watch a real vintage aesthetic. It does also complement the use of silver, and 925 silver has a more whiter tone to it than 316L grade stainless steel, which is very aesthetically pleasing. I like the coin edge finish, low profile bezel, and I also like the lip of the domed sapphire crystal, which looks like a boxed top hat crystal. It's got a lovely dome profile to it. So beautiful looking piece. Now, interesting thing about the 925 version of the Black Bay 58 is the flanks of the case are brushed satin finish. As you can see, they have a lovely luster to them. Now, usually with the Black Bay 58, they are mirror polished. The flanks look like they've got slab sides due to the mirror polishing. But by brushed satin finishing the flanks, it gives it a lower profile look. It doesn't reflect the light as much. And I actually think this is the correct choice because it complements the grained finish to the tops of the lugs. And it's got a lovely large chamfer machined, which marks the transition between the tops of the lugs and the flanks of the case. So interesting, the 925 has brushed satin finishing throughout. The underside of the case is also brushed satin finished. Now, something to note, the only part of this watch that isn't made from 925 silver is the screw down exhibition case back. It's glazed with sapphire crystal, but the stainless steel portion, as you can see, has a slightly different tone to it. It's got a more grey finish to it. If you look at the silver case, you can see it's a whiter tone. So that's something to note. Now, I think Tudor have made the correct decision by using a stainless steel case back rather than 925 silver, because this is constantly in contact with the wrist, and for some collectors they may find silver to be irritant, but the other thing is with constant contact with the wrist it will quickly tarnish, but by using stainless steel that's not going to tarnish like the case. So the case is engraved to a high standard with a specification around the circumference, and it does a good job of displaying the movement used, which is the Tudor MT5400. The MT in the reference number denotes manufactured Tudor, which means it's an in-house calibre. Now, although the MT5400 is an undecorated movement, there's no pelage finishing, there's no Cotes du Genève or blued screws, it is nice to see the movements through the sapphire glazed screw-down caseback. I would like to see Tudor introduce this screw-down exhibition caseback to all their models, including the Pelagos, Black Bay Heritage, Black Bay Chronograph, and also the other Black Bay 58 models. It's nice. I think the flat sapphire crystal is very comfortable against the wrist, but it's also more interesting to look at than the otherwise sterile casebacks they use on the Tudor Black Bay 58. Now, unfortunately, I can't give you a wrist shot doing up the strap because it is, as you can see, a fraction too short for my 8-inch wrist. But what I am going to do is hold it around my wrist, and then you can see how it would fit on wrist. Now, I think they've got the proportions correct. 39mm head of the piece, and we've got a 47.6mm lug-to-lug measurement, which is very close to perfection. As you'll know from my previous reviews, I consider 48mm to be the sweet spot for collectors with a 6 to 7-inch wrist or a 7 to 8-inch wrist respectively. 47.6mm lug-to-lug measurement, it is very close to perfection. The 20mm lug width is correct. It perfectly balances the 39mm head of the piece, and it's just a very aesthetically pleasing piece due to the lip of the double dome sapphire crystal. As you can see, it projects above the aluminium bezel insert, which is taupe, and the taupe bezel insert perfectly matches the taupe dial. Lovely grey anthracite colour to the taupe. I think it looks more anthracite than brown. Taupe, of course, is supposed to be a mixture of silver, grey and also brown, but I think it's more anthracite than taupe. Absolutely beautiful to look at. I love the lustre of the brushed satin finish flanks to the case, which match the grained finish to the tops of the lug. So incredibly comfortable piece to wear for long periods of time due to the flat sapphire crystal in the screw down exhibition caseback. Just a beautiful piece. Comfort level is outstanding, feel good factor is outstanding, and the 925 silver really does give it an interesting look. It looks a whiter tone of metallic rather than the grey tone of 316L grade stainless steel as per the Black Bay 58. Right, so let's test the crown action. The crown is made from solid 925 silver, embossed with the Tudor rose to a high standard. It's got a matte finish to it which contrasts with the other Tudor models. The Black Bay 58 has a mirror polished cap to the crown, but this has a matte bead blasted effect to it, which is very interesting. The coin edge finishing is very aesthetically pleasing, and it feels more textured than the stainless steel version of the Black Bay crown, and that's something that takes some getting used to. The same applies to the coin edge bezel. Because it's made from 925 silver, the silver has a more grippy feel to it. It feels more textured, there's more friction rather than silver, which feels smoother. And the crown actually feels, the teeth of the coin edge finishing feel sharper as a result. So let's test the action. Absolutely silky smooth, Rolex quality. There's no discernible difference between a Rolex twin lock crown and the screw down crown that Tudor use. So the crown itself is made from 925 silver. The crown tube is made from stainless steel as per the usual Black Bay 58, and the crown provides an effective hermetic seal to 200 meters of water resistance. In the first position, it's the manual wind position, and one can manually wind the caliber MT5400 to top it up to its maximum 70 hours. Absolute pleasure to manually wind it to its maximum 70-hour power reserve. One can feel the tension in the mainspring gradually building up. Pulling it out to the first click position is the time setting position, and it is absolutely silky smooth. It's a real pleasure to set the time. As you can see, it has hacking. I've now hacked the second hand, so one can set the time precisely to the second. Pushing it back in, it's got a nice positive click, and that restarts the movement. So I'll test screwing it back down. Immediate thread pickup. This is exactly the same as a Rolex twin lock or trip lock crown. Immediate thread interface between the internal thread of the 925 silver crown and the external thread of the stainless steel crown tube. Perfect crown execution. So let's test the bezel action. Now, it may take some getting used to because you'll all be familiar with 120 click unidirectional bezels. But on the Black Bay 58, including this 925 version, it has a 60 click unidirectional bezel. So after bidirectional friction bezels, 60 click unidirectional bezels succeeded them, And now, of course, the contemporary standard for the industry is 120 click unidirectional bezels, which I actually prefer. The 60 click bezel has a heavier clicking mechanism. The ratcheting mechanism feels heavier, and as I've discussed, that does take some getting used to. However, it does sound absolutely lovely. It's got a nice, loud, audible click, which is very pleasant. No lateral side-to-side play whatsoever. No back play whatsoever. Perfect bezel execution. I'll just check the alignment. Perfect. Needless to say, Tudor produce outstanding bezel execution. The quality control, the build's quality, and the finishing throughout of the bezel is outstanding. So it's the perfect bezel action, the perfect crown action. Right, so let's do a Lume test and we'll see how the Lume performs when it's charged up to the absolute maximum. So as always, I'm going to use my 100 UV LED torch to charge it up to its absolute peak. Right, so that's now fully charged, and as you can see, it has not disappointed. There is no discernible difference between the quality of Superluminova that Tudor use and the quality of Rolex Chromalight. The only real difference is that Tudor use a green tone of Lume versus the blue tone of Rolex Chromalight. But in terms of brightness, the emission of the Lume, it really is incredibly bright, and it will continue to glow for a good length of time. I like the use of a green Lume pip on the aluminium bezel insert. The snowflake hands have large plots of Lume, several layers of Superluminova. It's got a characteristic green tone, and it looks like C3 Superluminova, although I think it might be X1GL C3 Superluminova because it has a slightly whiter tone to it than pure C3, and that therefore increases the brightness and the longevity of the emission. So it's 10 out of 10, top grade Superluminova. I also like the square snowflake on the second hand, which sweeps around the dial. Clearly legible, the orientation is excellent because it has the classic Black Bay dial layout. And this is just a perfect example of C3 Superluminova. It's absolutely gorgeous to look at, and something I really like about Tudor. I think they've made the correct decision by using C3 Superluminova rather than BGW9, because the green tone of it matches the vintage aesthetic of the Black Bay 58 better than blue BGW9. I think it's the right choice. Right, so let's discuss the movement used, because it's one of my favourite aspects of the piece. So this Black Bay 58 925 uses the caliber MT5400. The MT denotes manufacturer Tudor, so it's therefore an in-house caliber made by Tudor. It has 27 joules and it runs at 28,800 vibrations per hour and a frequency of 4 Hz. The 70-hour power reserve is very impressive. Hand winding and hacking are useful complications, and it is COSC chronometer certified. So COSC chronometer limits are -4 to +6 seconds per day. I'm pleased to report that this one is very well regulated to +2 seconds per day when it's fully wound to its maximum 70-hour power reserve. So this is a very accurate movement, it's technically excellent, and I really like it. Now, the only thing I would like to see Tudor do is decorate the movement. I would like to see either pelage finishing on the bridges to the movement, blued screws, or alternatively coats de Genève, because it would be more interesting to see the caliber MT5400 with pelage or coats de Genève to decorate it, and also to decorate the movement with some coats de Genève rather than just skeletonizing it, as you can see. Now, they have signed it with Tudor, and it is engraved to show that it is a manufactured Tudor movement with 27 joules, but really it's an undecorated, otherwise sterile movement, and I think that Tudor could make more effort with regards to making it more aesthetically pleasing. But it's a technically excellent movement, it's reliable, well proven, and I like the 70-hour power reserve. So lastly, I'll summarise the piece. What do I think of it overall? Well, when I'm considering reviewing a watch on my channel, the watch should meet 2 criteria. It should be both excellent quality and excellent value at the respective price point. So the Black Bay 58 925 price point is €5,380. Yes, I consider it to be excellent quality, and yes, I consider it to be excellent value at €5,380. The movement alone in this piece is reason to buy the watch. The caliber MT5400 is a technically excellent movement. It's reliable, well proven, accurate, COSC certified as a chronometer, 70-hour power reserve. The other thing I really like about this piece, and it's another strong reason to purchase the watch, is it is made from 925 silver rather than 316L grade stainless steel. The bezel, the crown, even the buckle and tang in the strap, and also every part of it is made from 925 silver. The only part that isn't is the screw down exhibition case back, as I've detailed. That is made from stainless steel and glazed with sapphire crystal. But however, that is acceptable because it means that it's not going to tarnish from being in constant contact with the skin. This is a very well executed piece, and I think on the leather strap it looks absolutely beautiful. Comfortable piece to wear, feel good factor is outstanding, and it makes a refreshing change from other Tudor pieces because unlike the Black Bay Heritage and also the Black Bay 58, it has brushed satin finishing to the flanks and a matte bead blasted effect to the Tudor signed crown, as you can see. And it's something that's really nice about this 95 version because it has a more whiter tone to the case, the crown and also the bezel rather than the standard Black Bay, which is made from stainless steel. Also, I like the taupe bezel inset and the taupe dial. The colour match is very good and also changes in the light. So it's a more interesting piece than the standard Black Bay 58, which I have reviewed on my channel. I reviewed the blue version, and I think it fully justifies the price point. A solid 95 silver case. And we've also got an outstanding movement, the caliber MT5400. So I'm going to highly recommend it to you for your consideration. I hope you've enjoyed my review of the Tudor Black Bay 58 925. Please feel free to post your own comments below the video. Thank you very much.